KAVU 25 News Now weekends at 5:30.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on 25 News Now at 5:30. I'm Zach Brown. At least 3 people, 2 men and 1 woman, were killed in a shooting early Sunday in Kansas City. Authorities say the shooting happened at about 4:30 in the morning when a large group of people were gathered in a parking lot. 5 people went to the hospital with gunshot wounds and non-life-threatening injuries. No word on any suspects or arrests. However, people say there were plenty of witnesses at the scene who would have more information. That Missouri shooting wasn't the only mass shooting that occurred. There was another one out in Michigan. Reporter Shelly Malashi has more.
We don't know exactly what happened here.
Gun violence strikes again over the weekend, with the latest mass shooting happening Sunday morning in Kansas City, Missouri. According to police, the call came in at 4:30 a.m. and they later determined there was a large gathering. The victims were found in the parking lot and in the street of the intersection.
Obviously, there had to have been some kind of conflict that got us here. We just ask everyone, like, when it comes to a conflict, put down the guns, take a breath, walk away.
Kansas City detectives and crime scene investigators were seen processing the scene for evidence in hopes of gathering more information from witnesses.
A big part of it is building trust. I talked to some people. We had a good conversation for a minute, and somebody else put their finger over their mouths to indicate staying quiet. I think that's regrettable.
Meanwhile, in Saginaw, Michigan, a 19-year-old man and a 51-year-old woman are dead following a shooting around midnight on Saturday. Authorities said preliminary reports indicate a fight broke out at a large street party, resulting in a shooting. Police said at least 5 different caliber weapons were used, and no suspects are in custody at this time. According to the Gun Violence Archive, so far there have been 325 mass shootings this year in the U.S. That number is up by 5 shootings in just the last weekend. I'm Shelly Malashi reporting.
San Francisco Pride to illuminate San Francisco with the largest Pride laser installation. San Francisco's Pride is the world's largest gathering of the LGBTQ plus community and allies is set to captivate San Francisco. The highlight of the 53rd annual celebration, that Pride laser stretching 4.1 miles from the Ferry Building to Twin Peaks. Illuminate, the nonprofit arts group behind the Bay Lights, has doubled the number of lasers this year to create an even more striking display. The lasers will light up the night sky throughout the Pride weekend, creating a spectacular rainbow-colored spectacle. The organizers are hoping for clear skies to fully showcase the beauty of the installation. And that leads us to your viewer poll. Did you attend the Pride events in Victoria? Yes or no? Looking at what you guys have said, only 5% of you say yes, but thank you for voting. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. Texas border officials seized a massive stash of cocaine worth more than $1 million hidden in an ice cream machine maker's. Authorities with U.S. Customs and Border Protection report finding 146 pounds of cocaine June 19th at an El Paso cargo facility. Officials say the drugs were being taken from Mexico to the U.S. and are valued at about $1.2 million. The stash was detected through X-ray scanning and a canine search. The suspect in case now faces state charges connected to the alleged smuggling attempt. Custom and Border officials say they have seized over 33,000 pounds of cocaine so far this year. SpaceX is aiming to increase its valuation to around $150 billion. SpaceX owner Elon Musk is reportedly trying to reach that valuation by letting employees sell stock. Insiders say shares would be sold at $81 a piece. In December, SpaceX launched another sale that valued the shares at $77 each, assigning the company a value of roughly $140 billion. SpaceX doesn't publicly report financial reports and has not publicly commented on the stock sales. However, it periodically gives employees and former staffers the opportunity to sell stock as part of their compensation packages. The company sets a specific amount of stock that can be sold. San Antonio International Airport officials are investigating after the death of an airline ground crew member. This tragedy is under investigation.
When I first got there, the entire area of inside the terminal where the gates were was in turmoil.
As Michael Braun entered a terminal at SA International this morning, it was clear something went very wrong. There was a hazmat crew coming onto the tarmac and a tarp covering something up under this plane.
There was a large gray, blackish tarp, and generally in those kind of cases, there's a body underneath it.
The National Transportation Safety Board says a Delta flight was taxiing to its gate last night and a ground worker somehow went into the plane's engine. Braun said that was shielded from view as well.
I could see the plane sitting there and the tarp sitting there and a big kind of like cover over the engine.
Delta says the worker was employed by contractor Unify Aviation. That company told us today, in part, from our initial investigation, this incident was unrelated to Unify's operational processes, safety procedures, and policies. Out of respect for the deceased, we will not be sharing any additional information. Neither the airport nor Delta could provide additional details either. Delta did release a statement earlier in the day that said, "We are heartbroken and grieving the loss of an aviation family member's life in San Antonio. Our hearts and full support are with their family, friends, and loved ones during this difficult time." Andrew Moore, KENS 5.
Heads up, if you're flying soon, you could be facing some delays. That's because airlines have until July 1st to update equipment. Sunday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg warned that air travelers could face disruptions ahead of the deadline for airlines to retrofit equipment. The updates are to avoid potential interference from 5G wireless signals. Aircraft that haven't gone through the necessary equipment changes won't be cleared to land in certain weather conditions when visibility is low starting July 1st. That's when U.S. wireless companies plan to boost their 5G service to higher power levels. All right, Howie. Well, speaking of visibility, it's very sunny out there, very hot. Those airplanes probably won't have trouble landing here in Victoria anytime soon.
No, it's looking pretty good. I don't want to jinx anybody. But usually better conditions, better for flying, traveling, and everything else. But are these better conditions? It's super hot out there, Zach. We have that heat advisory in place until 8 p.m. tonight. And then here's what a look at our heat indices. Yeah, some spots 115 and counting. Other areas, just 110, 108 degrees. So yes, very much still on the hot, dry side, but humid. Still breezy. We got those breezes, which feel actually very good when it's this hot. We'll be in the 80s again this evening and pretty much similar to yesterday, 78 degrees overnight. Now we're going to talk more about the heat with maybe a slight cool down later in the week. That's coming up in my full forecast in just a bit, Zach.
All right, thank you, Howie. Many people trying to beat the heat, doing so in a variety of ways, and of course, including swimming pools. Well, according to KHOU, an incident in Houston at a fitness club saw a dozen people, including 7 children, taken to the hospital for overchlorinization. Overchlorinization can trigger symptoms of nausea, skin and eye irritation, and even asthma symptoms. The facility is said to be managed by Linda Mackingvale, who is the wife, of Jim Mackingvale, or better known as Mattress Mac. All right, grab your cell phone and scan this QR code. This is our quick response code to download the Crossroads Today app. Watch us anytime, anywhere, and get breaking news alerts and vote in our viewer polls. Learn about our ongoing contest right there on our app and submit news tips, videos, and photos. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 5:30, a train derailment causing environmental concerns.
Environmental concerns, heat illnesses, we're still on the hot side. We'll talk more about it coming up in just a bit.
5 News Now, Sunrise anchor Carolina Estrain talks with Texas Tribune reporter Renzo Downey with this week's Capitol Report.
I'm now joined by Renzo Downey. He is a Capitol reporter with the Texas Tribune, here to talk to us about the latest with the special session. Welcome, Renzo.
Hey there.
So earlier this week, the Senate came up with their own version of the property tax bill. What can you tell us about this new version and where does it stand now?
Yeah, so the House and Senate have been stuck in this gridlock on passing a property tax bill. And the Senate decided, hey, we're going to pass a new version of this bill, something that, over the last weekend, the House and Senate have been working to try to find an agreement. So the Senate said, okay, let's package up everything that we agree on here and put it into a new bill. And new in this version of the property tax bill is also a franchise tax exemption. So that's taken in a whole nother approach to resolving property taxes here. And so far the House hasn't budged on it. They have until Tuesday to reach an agreement. That is the last day of the special session. At that point, the governor may call another special session. He's likely going to. He's indicated that he would. So if we don't have an agreement by Tuesday, it's back to the drawing board and doing the same song and dance over again.
So we could potentially roll into another special session if the House doesn't, make the governor happy in a sense, because he's really making a big push for what he's calling one of the biggest property tax cuts in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, the House and the governor are kind of more on the same page right now. The governor wants a compression-only approach, says that's a way to that's the way to get toward eliminating property taxes permanently in Texas. So the House is saying, okay, well, we'll do that path. But the Senate, they want a homestead exemption, and now they've packaged up this new bill. So that's their proposed vision.
Wow, well, thank you so much for the latest on the special session, Renzo. We'll tune in maybe next week if the session continues for more updates. Thank you, Renzo.
Thank you.
All right, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Carolina. A bridge collapse and train derailment is raising environmental concerns after cars from that train, which were carrying hazardous materials, plunged to the Yellowstone River in Montana. Here's ABC's Zareen Shaw with the latest.
Officials in Montana are urgently working to contain a hazmat spill in the Yellowstone River. A freight train derailment and bridge collapse sent multiple cars into the shallow water. Authorities say it happened early Saturday morning in Stillwater County, about 40 miles west of Billings, Montana, and 110 miles northeast of Yellowstone National Park. 4 cars were carrying molten sulfur and another 3 were carrying hot asphalt that leaked into the river. Montana Rail Link, which owns the train, issued a statement saying active water sampling has already begun.
We were very fortunate in what ended up in the river. It could have been a lot worse. There was no loss of life, and I'm encouraged that preliminary water samples have all come back negative.
Water treatment facilities in 3 cities, including Billings, now taking emergency protective measures, telling residents to conserve water, but adding there is no reported threat to life or property. Montana Rail Link says track repairs have been made to allow access for cleanup. Saturday's derailment comes just one day after an NTSB hearing on the toxic trail derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The hearing revealed concerns by the train's engineer about the size of the 150-car train, but those worries were allegedly ignored by the yardmaster, who told him this is what they want. The hearing also focused on the toxic fumes released by the derailment and fire. Residents in the area were evacuated, but even months after returning home, many are worried about their health.
I feel like people that might want to get out can't get out. I feel that just people are afraid for their own safety.
Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
We're going to talk about our hot weather coming up in just a moment. Yeah, something new, right? See you soon. All right, little, what was I saying before? Was it satire? No, that was, what was that called, Zach? Sarcasm. There we go. Thanks, Zach. We were talking about it a second ago. Hey, it's tough. Sometimes I can't think that quickly with this heat, right? It's the heat. Hot and humid, triple digits, dry weather ahead. Yeah, not much has changed, but there's going to be a little bit of one, and we'll talk about that. 97 today, so still above average. Record 106 back in 1912. All right, Zach was talking earlier about blue skies, and he is right. Blue skies across the area, especially in Quero. What does that mean? Lots of radiation coming down from the sunshine and heating us up, again, with temperatures 97 plus in portions of the viewing area. Now, the differential heating in some areas, as well as a little bit of a tug on the systems, yeah, that's spiking up our winds, which I will take. Yes, no one wants stagnant air when it's this hot. So a little bit on the breezy side, these will start to calm down again. Very similar to yesterday overnight, down to maybe 10, 12 miles per hour. Again, we got some gusts, pushing 30 miles per hour in some spots. But that's not the big story. The big story again is the heat. Heat advisories in place until 8 o'clock. Some spots 105. Other areas 115 for periods at a time. We do have a few excessive heat warnings. Again, that should all expire around 8 p.m. tonight. Could extend a little bit, but should be all done by about 8 o'clock. The warning that is still going to be hot out there. So dew points, yeah, mid to upper 70s, lower 80s. So these high moisture levels contributing to these high dew point, these high dew point temperatures and moisture levels contributing to these high heat index values that we've been dealing with now for some time. All right, here's our heat indices. Again, 115 up there in Gonzales, 106 down there in Rockport, 108 out there in Carson City, Victoria, 110. Now, the good news is we've a shot at going under these 110s later in the week. Moisture levels will start to reduce. Dry air is going to move into the area. And with those scenarios, yeah, we still might be 97, 98 temperature-wise, very much on the hot side, but the uncomfortability factor should go down as these heat indices start to drop later on in the week. So by tomorrow, 112 Tuesday, 108 Thursday, yeah, back up to 111 Friday. So not as oppressive where we were 117, 118, 119 for most or at least half of last week. Again, very few changes. High pressure acting as that protective shield, that bubble of protection, diverting storms away, pushing them away, or storms that do make it, and again, running into the stability here, kind of fizzles them out, breaks them up with the high pushing down. That's a warming effect, allowing for sunshine, another warming effect. Thus, temperatures 110 plus look to continue on for much of the week. Maybe some of these storms come in, but more than likely, not going to produce any showers. Here's our look at our marine forecast. 86 for that water. Again, similar to yesterday, seas occasionally at 5. That'll keep our bays on the choppy side. Now, what's going on out here in the tropics? Well, Brett fizzled out there off the coast of South America. And now Cindy, 60 miles per hour yesterday, running into some unstable, unfavorable conditions for strengthening. And yes, should start to degrade and dissipate as it moves into the eastern Atlantic. So Cindy, yeah, potentially on her way or on its way out. 78 degrees overnight under mostly clear skies. And then for tomorrow, we'll go up to 101 degrees. Heat indices around 113. Looking ahead to the rest of the week. Pretty much encore performances, sunshine, hot, but later in the week, again, some of those heat indices coming down maybe a little bit under 110 degrees. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com, and that is free with any Android and iPhone. And that's right, we're going right to sports with Zach.
Thank you, Howie. I'll have preseason rankings coming up in sports. We are roughly 2 months away from the start of Texas high school football season, and the Texas Bible, known as the Dave Campbell's Texas football preseason rankings, are out. Multiple teams make the list. The top-ranked team in the Crossroads is from Class 2A Division I, the Refugio Bobcats. The orange and black coming off a state final appearance where it would fall just short of winning its 6th title. Also ranked in Class 2A Division I, the Shiner Comanches come in at number 9, Ganado at number 21. In Class 3A Division I, last season state semifinalists, the Edna Cowboys, are number 3 in the state. Cowboys head coach Jimmy Mitchell was named Coach of the Year last year as well. The Goliad Tigers making the list, coming in at number 19. In Class 3A Division II, the only Crossroads team to make it, the Tidehaven Tigers, coming in at number 4. Moving up to Class 4A Division I, the El Campo Ricebirds land at number 12 in the state. The Ricebirds, of course, lost the top running back in the nation, Reuben Owens, who is now headed to Aggieland, and head coach Tad Worrell. Taking the helm for former Cuero State title winner is Travis Reeve. The Calhoun Sand Crabs find themselves at number 16. Now in District 4A Division II, the Cuero Gobblers come in ranked at number 4 to start the year. Cuero, who is a state semifinalist last year, looking to bring its first title to Cuero since 2018. Now a game millions had their eyes on last night, Dodgers Astros. Mookie Betts on the second pitch of the inning. He's going to get robbed by Corey Julks, but a few batters later, another one's going to be hit out to left, one that Corey Julks isn't bringing back. LA with an early lead. The Astros would find themselves down 3, but slowly chipping away. Jose Altuve base hit's going to score. Jake Myers, the Astros would then work the bases loaded. In steps Alex Bregman. Grand slam gives Houston the lead. Houston's bullpen, however, unravels late. The Dodgers come all the way back and take the lead on a balk called in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Astros lose a heartbreaker 8-7. This game from last night, pretty crazy stuff as well, but for different reasons. By the end of the 4th inning, it was 23-0. Los Angeles Angels scoring more than the Los Angeles Rams. And the Texas Rangers early afternoon ball game jumping out to a 3-0 lead. Maybe they'll coast to a win? New York had other ideas. In the bottom of the 8th inning, down 1, a 2-run double just past the outstretched glove is going to score 2. The Yankees take the lead and go on to win 5-3. USA and Jamaica. It's the Jamaicans jumping out to an early 1-0 lead. Now let's fast forward to minute 30. A penalty kick has them threatening once more, but it's saved. And the rebound wide left. USA miraculously still in this one. Time winding down, needing a hero. They get it. In minute 88, the final score would end 1-1 as the Americans managed to salvage a point after it looked like a loss. All right, that's your sports. Stay with us. Coming up, a baby chick thriving in a New England aquarium. I want to invite you to experience our new digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. A baby chick that hatched at the New England Aquarium 3 months ago is all grown up. Well, grown up enough to move in with the rest of the penguin colony at the Boston Aquarium. The African penguin is named Bray, a name chosen by the staff because of the donkey-like vocalizations made by African penguins. Bray is now 6.6 pounds, which is more than 42 times her hatch weight. And I saw the videos of it kind of swimming around in the water. That baby chick probably doing what a lot of our people in the Crossroads area should do and get in the pool. It's very hot, and I know you've got a lot more to say about that.
I do. She is a cutie.
She is.
Wow, man.
Put that thing in the pet adoptions aquarium. I'll go down there right now.
That won't last 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll go adopt that right away. That is really, really cute. But yeah, would she enjoy herself down here?
No.
She'd have to get in that water, which is going to be a little warmer, and the air temperature a lot warmer up in New England as well. Well, they're hot this time of year, but I don't know if a lot of people in the country are experiencing the kind of weather that we're seeing. Heat indices still pushing 110, 112, 115 degrees in some spots. So as Zach mentioned a moment ago, yeah, be in the pool, be in the ocean, because it is another scorcher here in the Crossroads. So what's going on overnight? Very similar to last night, right around that 80-degree mark under mostly clear skies. Slightly breezy. I'll take those little bit of wind when it's this hot. And then for tomorrow, hey, we're flirting with 100 degrees again. Heat indices, maybe I say only at 113 degrees, because we've been a little higher than that, but still that is very much on the oppressive side. And looking ahead to the rest of the week, hey, some of those numbers might come down under 110, Zach. So you might not be warm enough for you to hit the pool then later in the week.
Right. Well, everybody stay hydrated out there, and thank you for joining us. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today.